I knew exactly when my curiosity surfaced. I can remember. In fact, it became a personal crusade after my father died, December 25th in 2014. I knew his father had deserted him, his biological, after a year, and then he went to live with his grandmother for a while before being passed around from one foster home to another. He always would tell me, mostly they took me in for the money, all except one of them. But we also talked about this wonderful stepfather he had. I believe he was 16 years old at the time.
I'm so glad to find you. I cannot tell you how excited I am.
I am too.
I have,
So who was your father?
So my father, his mother was Louisa, was her real name, but she went by Elizabeth. Okay. She had a twin sister, Margaret.
Well, that's my Aunt Lizzie.
Yes.
And so
I'm Irving's daughter.
Irving.
Yes.
Right, Irving's daughter.
My father's last name was Lewis because I think Lizzie, married a Lewis, which I don't even know about because he never talked about. Do you know about that?
Yes, he adopted Irving.
Who was the Lewis, though? What was his name?
Lefty Lewis.
Lefty Lewis?
Yeah.
That sounds like a boxer.
No. I guess that was his nickname. I don't know what...
You don't know the real name, huh? Because my father... No. I never asked him the questions I should have. You know, he didn't want to talk about it. It was not a good childhood.
No, they were very close-mouthed. I mean, my mother told me not to tell anybody. I could tell you because it's family.
I know. Oh.
But she told me, don't tell anybody that you know Lefty. You know that. I don't know how she put it now, but I wasn't supposed to talk about it. I have a picture of him.
You do? Oh my God.
Yeah, and of Lizzie. Yeah. No, she was just wild. She was married to Lefty. Lefty had a lot of money. You know, Lefty got killed.
Oh yeah. Now when did Lefty die? Do you know?
I don't know, but we were young then. I was young then.
So let's see. You were born in 1933.
Yeah. He must have died about 37. Do you know how he died?
No. How?
I don't know if I should be telling you this, but I guess it doesn't matter.
Yes, go.
Well, are you sitting down?
Yes, I'm sitting down.
Okay. So all I knew for years that, Lefty, died. He was machine gunned down on his walking out the front door.
Harry Lefty Lewis is his name. I finally found out.
Harry? Yeah, Harry Lefty Lewis.
Oh my God.
I didn't know the Harry.
Harry Lefty Lewis. So he was a good-looking man.
Yes.
And he loved Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, and he loved Irving.
And then he must have been devastated, my father, when he must have been devastated.
Well, everybody was, because he was so good to everybody.
Today I'm at Zion Garden Cemetery on the west side of Chicago. Another beautiful cemetery. And I'm looking for my step grandfather. His name was Lefty Lewis. Or should I say Harry Lefty Lewis? Sounds a little bit like either a boxer or mafia. So if you pick the latter, or a teamster, you're correct. Harry Lefty Lewis. I finally found the right section 3, but there's a lot of graves here. So I'm going to be digging around, and I'm very excited to see what it says on his gravestone. Because I will tell you, if you look him up, you Google Lefty Harry Lewis, he actually murdered a man, Max Braverman, way back. I believe it was in the 30s. And he was acquitted, but I will tell you that Harry was the head of the Peddlers Union in Chicago, which is like Teamsters. So I'm going to have a look around. I found my paternal step-grandfather here, Harry Lefty Lewis, beloved son and brother. At rest, December 17th, 1937, he was 43 years old and probably gunned down, rumor has it. So my paternal step-grandfather murdered a man in 1927. He was known as an enforcer, Harry Lefty Lewis, working for the Chicago Junk Peddlers Union 757. It's an offshoot of the early Teamsters. He was tried and eventually acquitted of first-degree murder of Abe Braverman, a junkman who refused to join the union and pay the $5 dues. So he allegedly, Harry Lefty Lewis, shot Braverman in the back to maintain discipline among the 900 junkmen he had organized into a union. Lewis, a convicted bank robber who was sentenced to serve 42 years in a Missouri penitentiary, had his sentence commuted in 1925 after serving 4 years. So he must have been smart in many ways, but in the end, they got him. His job, my step-grandfather's, with the help of fellow thugs, was to muscle any Jew who refused to pay their union dues. According to the Chicago Trib, the charge of murder combined with overwhelming evidence of his guilt would have convicted him, but an acquittal was rendered after a 6-hour deliberation because of threats of violence to witnesses and members of the jury. One of the jury members had a bombing in their backyard, so I guess that would have scared anybody. The state contended that Lewis shot Braverman to maintain discipline among the 900 junkmen in his organization. So of course I was shocked when I found out who this man that my father said was the only one father figure that showed him any love, which is hard to believe because I couldn't imagine my father, an upstanding ethical attorney for more than 60 years, living with this secret. And no, I never knew anything about this except he had a stepfather who loved him. And I never realized how it affected his life as a child, young adult, and of course as a father. Right here I have found Sarah Ches. That was Lefty Lewis's, one of his siblings. She was Sarah Lewis, of course, and she married Mel Ches. And I found out later, she actually died when she was 91, that she spent many years in Arizona, which I did and never knew it. Here we could have maybe found out more information, great information, about Harry Lefty Lewis. And here's her husband, Mel Ches. So it's interesting just to find the sites are right around each other. And I see Yetta Lewis, which was Sarah and Harry Lefty Lewis's mother. She died in 1947, so of course she had to go through the grief of her son being gunned down. And but those were the wild, wild West days. I'm paying my respects to Lefty Harry Lewis. I may never find out all the answers to my questions, but I thought I would mark the grave, so next time I come, it'll be a little bit easier to find. I'm on my way out, feeling good about finding out what was on the gravestone and visiting this beautiful cemetery. Very difficult to find places here, so I recommend, if you want to find your relatives, to don't come on a Sunday like I did. Visit when there are people here to help you. Otherwise, it's a maze. Not as bad as Waldheim, but not easy to navigate and not enough shade. Beautiful place.